Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lizzie here, back with another video. Glad you could join me on my channel, and yeah, let's get right into the video. Oh, just before we get right into the video, if you've not yet subscribed and you enjoyed my video, please do make sure to subscribe down below and turn on post notification bell so you'll be one of the first to know when I upload a video. Yeah, anyway guys, welcome back. So as you can tell from the title, I will be telling you about my testimony concerning my wedding. You know, I told you guys that, you know, there will definitely be a testimony concerning my wedding and everything, because, you know, the way God moved and the way everything was able to take place when it took place, considering everything that was happening everywhere all around the world, was amazing. And I can't thank God enough for what he did, for what he did at that time, for what he's doing right now in my life, in the life of my husband, in the life of our marriage. Like, God is absolutely amazing, and you know, he deserves all the glory and all the honor. So yeah, let's just get right into the video and talk about my testimony. As you guys can probably get from my wedding series, you could tell that, you know, we originally planned for our wedding to take place in August 2020. Obviously, with everything going on, that could not happen. So we ended up like, okay, what are we gonna do? It's no longer August now, you know, like, what are we going to do? How are we gonna get past and, you know, get married and stuff? So, you know, I started praying and stuff, and, you know, some people were saying leave next year, like 2021, and I was like, no, like, you know, we had decided 2020, August 2020. Yes, if August cannot happen, then, you know, maybe another time in 2020 can happen. And, you know, I just started praying to God for God to just take control, to just take the wheel, and, you know, to just direct us in deciding what the next step is going to be. And, you know, we watched and I think it was around either September or thereabouts, like middle of September, that we were like, okay, well, due to the way everything's going, due to the way they're talking, let's look at November. Because they then started allowing maximum of 30 people for weddings, which includes the bride and groom and stuff. The only people that were not included were workers like photographers, caterers and stuff. So anyways, we're like, okay, 30 people, we'll do what we can do, people will understand and stuff. So we were like, okay, November, so we'll move it to November. So as you guys know, I'm Nigerian, my husband's Nigerian. We have a traditional wedding and a church wedding. So the traditional was supposed to take place on the 7th of November, with the church wedding then taking place the next day, which is the 8th of November. So obviously that was the days that was decided. Everything was decided, 7th and 8th of November, perfect. Come October, you know, things started like changing again all around the world, especially in the UK. Things started changing, and it was just like, wow, okay. And then was it on the 31st? Yeah, 31st of October, that literally things then progressed. Like, literally I was so, when you know, news would like, that week of the 31st, when things were like changing, I was like, God, I don't know what's going on, but you are the King of Kings. Like, there is nothing you cannot do. Just have your way in any way that you want this to take place. Just have your way in any way you want this wedding to take place, however way you want it to take place. Just have your way and just take all the glory and take all the honor, however way it happens. And, you know, come 31st of November, like literally everything had been planned for the week after, which was the 7th and the 8th. So 31st was a Saturday, yes. Everything was just happening. Like, things were already in place. We already had the photographers in place. I already had my makeup artist in place. I already had my the venue in place. I already have the cake the lady that was going to make the cake in place. I already have everything in place, decorated everything. We've had everything in place, and you know, come 31st, there was then an announcement, you know, about going into another lockdown. About entering into another lockdown, and I was just like, wow. And literally that was from the morning of the 31st, and you know, on that 31st we were moving stuff, like the decorator was moving stuff from her storage to, like, you know, to just so that everything's out, because we weren't sure what was gonna happen. So we just, you know, trusted and believed in God and moved stuff from the storage that morning. That was around 10, and you know, I started seeing what some people were suspecting were gonna happen, like on the news, on the newsletter and stuff, like news posts and stuff. So you know, we started brainstorming, started praying to God, and you know, myself and my husband, now obviously my fiance, then we like obviously spoke, we prayed, we, you know, I then had this idea, like this idea just dropped into me that, you know what, surely they won't say we're gonna enter into lockdown the next day. So how about we just have the wedding the next day? Like, and at that point they had reduced it from 30 to 15 people. So at that point it was no longer going to be 30 people, it was going to be 15 people. So like, I was like, well, it's not going to be 30 anymore, we're already at 15. Like, let's just do this and see if it's going to be possible for us to do it tomorrow. So you know, we then had to, you know, we prayed about that, placed it in God's hands. We then obviously had to talk to our parents. We spoke to our parents. Everything was just agreed and decided. So we were now looking at literally the next day. I think that was decided, like we started looking at that. We initially said, okay, if it's possible, let's call around and see if people were able to make the 1st of November. So called my makeup artist, she said she's fine. We thought of a time that we would do, because obviously it was a Sunday, so we were like, after Sunday service, we'll give it like about 1-2 hours in between, and then we'll have our wedding ceremony. It was just literally going to be the church this time, and just, you know, make it beautiful in the way that we can make it beautiful, and in the way that God can make it beautiful. Just have a little bit of decoration around the church, have the photographer there to take professional pictures for us, have the cake, even though the cake design ended up changing, you know, just have the cake there to take pictures with the cake and with family and stuff, and that was it. No caterer, no nothing like that. You know, and God still made it beautiful, and you know, I was just so amazed by how everything turned out. But before we get to the end, let me talk about how everything was. And God moved mightily, and you know, we, you know, parents, everything, we were like, okay, fine. But before we have to see if the people that we've sort of put in place can, you know, move along with us. So called my makeup artist. She was fine to travel down and come and do my makeup a week early and stuff. She was okay with the change of times. Decorator too was fine with the change of times, luckily. You know, when things started falling into place, that was when I was like, you know what, I can see God's hands in this. You know, when God's hands is not in something, things would not move smoothly. But when I started calling around to the people that I had booked, that, you know, had been booked for the 7th and the 8th, and things were moving around mightily, and, you know, people were available for when we needed them to be, for, you know, the next day, literally within less than 24 hours notice. They were like, that's fine, they can make it. Less than 24 hours notice, you know, and, you know, things were moving mightily, and, you know, things were available and stuff, and it was just like, blew my mind at how amazing God is. Like, that, this is what I'm saying is a big testimony. Like, planning, literally moving your wedding around less than 24 hours for people to make changes. I had to call the cake lady. The cake lady was like, wow, okay, she'll see what she can do. And I told her, I said, but at the same time, I'm just calling to ask if it will be possible for you, because it is not 100% decided yet. because we wanted to listen to what the announcement was going to be. And the announcement was supposed to take place at 5, but then guys, this announcement just kept getting moved. It went from 5, I think, to like about 6 to like 8 and stuff. I ended up not confirming to like the people, like everyone, until around like 9 o'clock in the evening, around 8 o'clock in the evening after the announcement. And you know, less than 24 hours, the wedding was not supposed to take place the next day at what, 3 p.m, 4 p.m. And you know, people moved, God moved, and things were beautiful. Like, you guys, I'll post some pictures, and it was mighty, it was beautiful, beyond what I expected. And you know, obviously the people that were there, family was there, you know, it was very intimate. It was intimate, and I truly believe that was how God just wanted our wedding to go. And I just thank God that, you know, God did not fail. God did not speak something and, you know, not accomplish it, because that is not who he is. He speaks something and he brings it to fulfillment. It brings it to he establishes what he says. He doesn't take back, it doesn't go back on his word. You know, he's made that promise, and you know, he kept it to the very end. And it was such an emotional day. It was such a special, intimate day. The photographers were there, the cake was there, the decorations were there. As little as it was, it made the plate, it was beautiful. You know, everything was ready. You know, I ended up from what estimated 8 bridesmaid, from 8 bridesmaid, I ended up going to just having my 2 maid of honor and stuff. And you know, it was just mightily, and yes, you know, it was just great. It was mighty and amazing. And you know, we had our church ceremony, and you know, that is the most important one, the church, where you bring Christ into your marriage. And you know, God has been so faithful. He has been so great, so amazing, and I cannot thank him enough for what he did in November, like November 1st. And like recently, myself and my husband we marked 6 months of being married. You know, we've got another 6 months till we get to a year, and God has been so great. He has been so wonderful, so great, so marvelous. And you know, there's nothing, you know, when people ask me, why do you believe in God? Like, because he has done so marvelous things. He's done so many things. He has proven himself to me again and again and again, constantly. Less than 24 hours, guys. See how everything moved so smoothly. See how everything, you know, when God says it is time, and he has a play in it, and he has a hand in it, things will move so mightily. It will move like you can, like, I didn't believe it would move. You should see the way I literally jumped when everything was going smoothly, the way I was so excited, the way, like, literally my mom, my cousin, they were all just like, whoa, what is going on? Like, literally the way I was moving, I just started dancing and praising God and just playing praise songs just to praise him, because I know it is not by my might. You know, it is him, and only him that can do it, because everybody that needed to be there, everything that needed to be in place was falling into place. You get what I mean? Like, the things that needed to be in place were falling into place. It happened the way God wanted it to happen, and that's all I can say. My wedding happened the way God wanted it to happen. You know, you have this envision of how you want your wedding to be. This is a wedding that was supposed to be at least maximum 250 to 300 people, that we ended up doing on less than 15 people. Yes, less than 15 people were at the wedding. And it was still beautiful. It was still amazing. It was still more than what I could have imagined. You know, you get what I mean? And you know, when the time comes, we will have a party and a celebration to just mark that moment in our life. But the most important bit of inviting God into our marriage, into our wedding, had happened, into our union, took place. And that was the most important thing. that is something that my brother said to me, and it was like, maybe this is the way, like this is the way God wants it, which I truly believe. And I thank him for giving me that word, because sometimes when some people, when they say something, it hits home. That word that you said that day hit home, and you know, that encouraged me, like, yes, this is how God wanted it. Because yes, even though it's not how I envisioned my wedding to be, it's not how I thought it would take place, but God still allowed it to happen. It still took place. It still took place in the year 2020. It took place on a date that no one expected. It took place when God wanted it to take place. It took place with everything moving so fast, so smoothly, and I just couldn't believe it. Because, you know, when I was just shocked and amazed at how wonderful and brilliant and marvelous God is, and I was just so grateful, and I'm just still so grateful to God, because literally he has non-stop showing himself in my life, in the life of my husband, in the life of our marriage, in the life of our families. He has not stopped showing himself. So I am so grateful to God, and all the honor and all the glory and all the praise, everything that I am absolutely belongs to God. I just give him the glory, I give him all the honor. He is worthy to be glorified. He is worthy to be praised. And I cannot talk about my wedding without talking about God, because the way it happened literally just showed how faithful, how wonderful, and how glorious he is. So yeah, that's literally how my wedding was able to take place within 24 hours, less than 24 hours of, you know, the announcement and stuff. And I'm just so happy that, you know, everything happened. Where people, you know, that went there, you know, were able to join on Zoom due to restrictions and stuff, because even then that was what we were going to do, because obviously, like I said, it was supposed to be 30 people before they reduced it to 15, before it was then basically now or never. Well, now or yeah, not knowing when. And yeah, because like we also thought, because, you know, then we were like, okay, do we then just move it to next year, like 2021, and, you know, see what happens, and thinking about possibly March 2021. And I'm telling you now, you know, that's why God is that's why you need to commit everything to God, because, you know, we prayed about that as well, about maybe March 2021. And, you know, look we're in May now, and, you know, everything is just starting to be relaxed. You know, March we were still in, you know, lockdown. Things weren't happening, and I think at that time, around that time, it was only, even now, I mean, now I think it's going back in the middle of May, and then towards the ending of May, it's going back to 30 people can be attended at a wedding. But back then, around January, February, March, it was still, I think, a maximum of like, what, 4 people at a wedding, and that included the bride and groom. So literally it would have been myself, my husband, and 2 people, which also would need to include our, like, the pastor and stuff. So, you know, God just moved mightily. God knew what he was doing. You know, we can't see tomorrow. We can't see the future. Only he knows the future. Only he knows tomorrow. And, you know, because of that, I just can't give thanks to God enough, because, you know, he knew what was happening, and he you know, changed things and put things in place for us. And I can't thank him enough for what he has done. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the testimony in how God moved mightily in my life, and how God moved mightily in that situation in our marriage, in, you know, joining us together as one. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. And like I said, if you haven't done so already, please do make sure to subscribe down below. And yeah, thanks guys. I shall see you in my next video. Bye.